It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I have Grant Morel. How are you, Grant?
I'm good, thank you, Nonsa. We were just talking before about Christmas parties, and we've got a very busy week of Christmas parties. So, plenty.
Yeah, Grant has been partying, guys, and he got home today at 6 a.m. apparently. He's been a naughty boy.
There we are. But all good fun to celebrate and to yeah, to have fun with friends and to remember the year. So yeah, it's good. It's going to be a grueling but fun week. How about you, Nonsa? Have you got any on the way? Any
Me,
parties?
I'm just busy. I'm just performing right through until before the new year. I think we finish 23rd or 22nd performing. So we have um, three performances Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then in the week with BBC and Launchpad with we normally do it with what's his name from the X Factor, Danny Lee.
Mm-mm-mm.
Um, and what else do we have to do? We have to do, I think it will be finished then. Yeah, it's a busy night for us because we have to practice like yesterday we went practice and I don't drink, I don't smoke, but you have to stay away from alcohol anyway. And keep it cool. We are the gospel, we're going to be holy,
Yeah,
gospel choir.
good, good.
Yeah, so we're busy raising money for good cause.
That's good. It's a
Yeah.
great thing to do. Great
Yeah,
thing.
last year we raised lots of money, and this year we are hoping to actually raise more and more and more money. On Friday is for refugee. We're raising money for refugee. So we are hoping that we're going to beat the target for last year so they have money for the whole year.
Wow. Wow. That's quite something. That's quite something.
Yeah, so that's what we are hoping for. I need to put the link for people buying tickets so they can show up and donate some money.
Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Pleased to hear it. Pleased to hear it. Good cause.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my story. It's a busy time of the year when everyone is partying. I'm afraid I have to go and party with my gospel,
Good stuff.
singing and raising money. It's all fun because you get to meet different people from all walks of life. Last year we had all the BBC presenters, so they were presenting our thingy,
Yeah,
so which was good.
that's lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
these things are fun. Doing things like that are fun.
Yeah, it is fun, but we don't get to we don't get like the luxury to get to know people to chat to them because by the time we finish is late, everyone wants to go home and yeah. But I think on Friday we have time to actually have a chat after drink, so we can have after drink party, so which is good.
Good.
So I'm excited for that. And Grant,
Yes,
do you mind to our topic today is how to keep cool, to keep your cool, holding your composure. You chose this topic. Would you like to explain to our audience why you chose this topic? Keep it
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Namza. I can't remember why I chose the topic, but I know why I think it's important. Because we have the season coming up. We have seasons happening in our lives. And now we have, in many parts of the world, we have Christmas season. Okay. I think it was before Thanksgiving I came up with it. And I'm aware that a lot of these times, for some people, it's a very happy, very joyous time. For some people, not so much. For some people, it means they're thrust together with people that they don't particularly enjoy being with sometimes. And things can get said, emotions can get triggered. And things can erupt, things can blow up in their face. But the key part of this is how to think beyond it and how to keep your cool. In other words, how to hold your composure. Because I don't know if you're anything like me in the past, probably at some point in their life, someone has said something, someone has triggered something, and you've said something. Or perhaps it's the other way around. You've said something that somehow triggered someone, and they've said something to you, and it's offended you. And later they regretted it. They thought, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Or you've said it. It's very easy. So the point is, at this time of year, when a lot of people I know do actually dread it. Some love it and some think, oh God, it's the mother-in-law, it's the father-in-law, oh, it's that step-brother, that step-sister, whatever, that friend, that person who triggers them, and they're like, I can't stand it anymore. And after days of it can build up. And I just want to help you to try to rise above that and to keep cool and hold your composure. So that's why I think it's important. Nomsa, what about you?
Uh, I I think I agree with you, Grant, because now we're going to the new year, we're going to towards Christmas as well. And it's a very, very busy time. And some people they have to visit, they got invited where they don't want to be, like the in-laws, like what you mentioned, that you sometimes you have to go there, or the in-laws they come to people's homes or even at work or relationship. And when somebody says something that makes you uncomfortable or makes you really upset, I think the first step of holding your composure is very, very important to recognize the triggers, because at the end of the day, um, like yesterday, my daughter was trying to talk to her, like to look after her sister, and she didn't want to. And she was pushing my buttons, like, like she's pushing and pushing and pushing. And I'm like, okay, okay. So I'm like, I'm not gonna let her get away with it. I need to explain to her that she can't really talk to me like that. But she was seeing her own version of a teenager. And so I explained to her that every adult, like when you're communicating with an adult, you have to actually be aware of the words that you can say or you cannot say, because at the end of the day, they're growing up, and you say something, you become the bad guy. So for me, I just hold my composure, or simply, like right now we're going on towards Christmas. We're getting busy, getting invited for Christmas with the families and stuff. For me, what I intend to do is, if I know it, like Christmas, sometimes I love when we spend Christmas at home, because it means we're gonna have to do it in our own terms. So I like it like that. Or if somebody says something, or even at work, it's important to actually learn how to respond, because whatever they're saying, it is not in those events, it's not, you don't have to lose control. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just take a breathe. Take a moment to identify your triggers. It could be a specific person or a particular type of a situation, or even certain thoughts. When people say something, or sometimes you could be even angry, already angry with that person. Um, that really, really helps. So it's very, very important to make sure that you keep your cool and just breathe. Take it all in, and sleep on it, maybe, and then just let it go. Because some things, if you say it, we're getting into the like end of the year. So we have to prepare ourselves for how we're gonna enter the 2024, with which energy are we entering with 2024? And for me, I'm so terrible with this. It's like the whole year, basically, like, it has to be a good energy. I cannot get involved being triggered by things that are not my story. I just have to tell myself that This is not my story. Over to you, Grant.
Thanks, Nomsa. And I think that's great advice because, but I think the way you can turn these situations into something positive is, and by the way, I think you're going to have a great time over Christmas anyway. There's always things you're going to enjoy, but just in case you do find somebody who upsets you, bothers you, triggers you, one of the ways you can combat this is to have a bit of a game with it in your mind. When you stop taking it less seriously, this is important. And when we think, why do we get upset? It's normally something around our ego has been dented, right? This is normally what it's about. And I know the other reasons are that some people just don't have good intent. And when they don't have good intent, yeah, of course you're going to get upset with people who don't have good intent. But here's the key thing, which I always try to do. If someone upsets you, try to think, why is that upsetting me? I mean, immediately you feel upset. That's instant. You understand. But do we ever stop to analyze why? What's going on with me? Why did that bother me? That wouldn't bother somebody else, but it bothered me. Why would that bother me? What is it about it that's triggered me, upset me, reminded me maybe of something in the past where somebody said something similar? And this might be what we call emotional stacking. So I've said this before, ladies and gents, you'll go in the kitchen and suddenly you put the knife down and your partner will just go, why'd you do that? It drives me mad. You do it. And you think, what? What? I just what's the big deal? And they're making seemingly too much of it. And you think, what's the big deal? It's just a very small thing. And you're right. It is a small thing. It really isn't worth getting upset about. But why is it? Why did they get triggered? There's a thing called emotional stacking, which means to say it's probably not the first time it's happened. It may be the first time you've done it, but there's somebody else who they have a bad relationship with or something in the past who used to do that thing. And it builds up, builds up, builds up, and builds up, and builds up, and builds up. And then you come along and do it for the first time, and bang, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And that's why you think, why did they overreact? Yes, they overreacted to your single action, but of course, it's an accumulative effect. Emotional stacking. And this is what happened. And I think we all do it at some point. So if you've ever wondered why your husband or wife gets upset when you put that butter knife down in that position and it drives them mad and it's so silly, it's probably emotional stacking. You could have done it many, many times when they've asked you not to, or it could be somebody else, but there's a story behind it. So if we have a little bit of empathy for the other person, and I try to just, and we're all human, but if you're in traffic and somebody cuts in front of you and, says some bad words to you or something, and they've acted unreasonable, well, I sometimes think, that's unreasonable. That's weird. They can't act like that all the time. Maybe they're parents, and they wouldn't do that if they had kids in the car. So what made them do that now? There's a story. If you trace it back, there's a story behind it. Maybe the boss has just fired them. Maybe they said they're stupid. Maybe they got insulted. Maybe the child upset them. Maybe something bad. Maybe they're unwell. Something's happened and they are suffering at some point. That's why they acted irrational in front of you. Now, that doesn't excuse their behavior, but it makes you feel better. It makes you not get upset. That if that person's upset, well, last thing you want to do is cause a chain reaction where they upset you, and then you get upset and you upset somebody else, and blah, 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 and the whole day just becomes awful. You know, if you go out in a bad mood, the rest of the day ends up bad because you'll say something to someone else, they will get upset, something else will happen, and the whole day is just horrible. You have to break that cycle, right? Break the cycle. So if someone's bad, stop and get curious and think, I wonder what's going on with them. They're obviously having a bad day. I feel sorry for them. wow, they've obviously had a rough day. I wish them well. If you start to think like that, you don't get infected with that bad feeling. And that's important because it won't bring your day down. It reminds me, I was in Las Vegas once. I was speaking at a conference in Las Vegas, and sometimes I stay in the hotel where the conference is. And this particular year I didn't. I stayed in a hotel nearby. Maybe it was full. I can't remember. But I stayed in another one, and it was about a 7 minute cab ride. Okay. And it was an Uber. And I remember as I came out, yeah, you get the app, arriving in 1 minute, and I'm there at the Uber pickup point, right? And I get the message, I'm here. Where are you? I'm here at the Uber pickup, Uber share, you know. And yeah, you're not here. I'm like, yeah, this is me. I'm where I can't see your reg. Well, I said, are you sure you're in the right place? He wasn't. He was in the wrong place. In the hotel, but slightly. And he said, this is the Uber pickup point. I said, it isn't. I said, it's not. I checked with the lobby, yeah, the receptionist, where is it? And they said, it's there now. And they told me, they said they have to drop you off there now and pick you up and drop you off there. And there's a sign that says it. So I said, no, I picked up here before. I said, I believe you may be right that it used to be. It's not now. I'm sure you wouldn't know that, but I asked the lobby staff because I'm new here and they said it's there. It's not. I said, there's a sign that says Uber pickup. Well, they probably changed it. And I was trying to say to him, hey, it's not your fault. I'm not upset. I understand you probably used to pick people up here, but they told me it will be there now. And he's arguing with me. I'm thinking, how can you argue? I'm just right. It's changed. It's there. I'm trying to help you. It's there. I'm not blaming you. I understand it wouldn't be it. And he's just clear. And I'm thinking, what's going on with this guy? He's obviously having a really bad day. And I said, hey, and he's going along. I said, how's your day going so far anyway? And he's like, it's been horrible. I thought, yeah, I know that. I could tell that. Da, 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 da. And then, of course, what happened? Like the lights were going to change, and it beep, beep, beep. He's honking the horn before. And I said to the guy, he's just going to mess his whole day up. And I said, you know what? I said, it's a funny thing. I was talking to a really good friend the other day, and they was telling me how, you know, when their day just starts rough, it just ends up getting worse and worse. And the best thing you do is just break the cycle. Because I realised there were people having a tough time. They're having a bad day. Like the guy who just, that idiot who just stopped at the lights when he should have gone. It's so annoying, isn't it? He said, yeah, it's annoying. I said, but his mind's probably not on it. You know, he's got something going on, maybe Charles sick. And as I said, and the best thing you can do in life, nothing happens, nothing goes wrong, no one dies as a result. If you just relax and be friendly, most people are really, really nice if you treat them nice. And I said, and like you, I said, I'm sure when you're so nice to all your customers, they tip you more and give you 5 stars. And he's like, oh, you see him stop. And he just like thinking. He stopped moaning after that. He stopped moaning. He was quiet. He said, hey, have a nice day. I said, yeah, we'll do. You too. Have a great one and be good to people. And I'm sure the karma comes back. Take care. And that was, and he calmed right down because you just saw the penny drop into this guy. And I think it's true. If you can if you can control your own upset, being anger, your own ego, and get yourself out of the way and think logically. I always tell them a story, not about them. Hey, you should do this, because that's confrontational. People will never like that. If you can tell them a story about somebody else, like third party story, they will listen. And the beauty about third party stories is we have been listening to these all of our life. When we were kids in school, we would go there, and at the end of the day, before we did academic work, when we were very young, we'd play all day, and then at the end, the teacher would do what? They would say, sit down, I'm going to tell you something. And they would tell us a story. They would get the book, you'd sit down, they'd open the book, and they'd tell you stories of, I don't know, princesses and guys riding horses and adventures. And I'll bet you that when you listen to it, you implanted yourself in the story, right? Yeah, because that's what we're meant to do. We do it now. We watch movies, we watch Netflix, you see a love movie and people will sit there with a tear coming down the face. There'll be a war movie and people will be ducking when the bullets are coming. There's no bullets. There's no love story. They're actors. They're making it up. But we get involved because we put ourselves in the. Oh, he broke her heart. Oh, that'd be so. I'd be so upset. It's not about you. We're just watching chemicals on the screen. But we get involved in the story. We're programmed to put ourselves into stories. So if you could tell someone a story, not about them, hey, you should do that. No one wants to be told what to do. But if you could tell them about somebody similar, some other person, the pressure's off. And they listen to the story, and what will they do? They'll do the same as we always do. We put ourselves in the story. And that cab driver listened and thought, well, it's a bit like me. I'm having a bad day. I'm an Uber driver. Christ, if I did that, that would make my day a lot better. And you just literally see his neck. He went, and he changed. So if you can tell someone a great story about somebody else elegantly, they will fulfill themselves. They will put themselves into a dream and they will get the point without being lectured. And your day will be smoother and their day will be smoother too. Okay. Nomsa, have you ever heard that done before? Have you ever done that before? Have you ever experienced someone doing it to you before? What do you think?
Telling a story.
Mm.
Um, I when I when I meet people, sometimes when people like they're in a anger, that like they're like get angry, or sometimes like you find that oh they come to the office because it's a handy business center, or they're angry. When someone is really, really angry, or if the reception is not there, and they get really upset to them that you should be there. So I'm like, things happen. People are in the toilet, or sometimes I just let somebody have a rage. If people wants to have a rage, I let them have a rage, and then when they're finished, I'm like, can we talk then? Are you okay? So then normally I let them let it all out, and then after they let it all out, when somebody sees that you're not reacting to whatever they are doing,
Yeah, yeah.
so they're like, "Oh, hang on a minute," and then you talk to them because to them they are reacting because they need help, but they don't know how to. They think that the only way for them to get help is to actually have a rage. Or sometimes I normally go for a walk. And now that we have these apps on the phone, I can pay shopping with the phone. Sometimes I go on a walk and then I do shopping. When I do shopping, I don't come back walking. I'll ring a taxi to take me home. And sometimes if I have loads of bags, the taxi driver will mourn. So I'm like, why are you mourning? In my heart, I'm like, why are you mourning? I'm paying you anyway, and not gonna pay you what you charge me. I'm gonna pay you more money. Why are you mourning? So I don't intend not to give them money. Like if they mourn, I give them anyway. And I say next time, please, when you come and pick me up, can you keep it cool? Because I'm a customer. And when you keep it cool, I will all happy because sometimes people mourn for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. And my younger brother is like that. He likes to mourn. Honestly, he likes to mourn, even if he does not know the whole story. But for me, I'm not a person that likes to explain it. If you have made your decision that this is what is going on, I leave you to it. I do not try to explain. The reason why I do not try to explain is when you try to explain somebody what is going on, they're not really going to listen because in their head, they've already made up their mind. Yeah, they already made up their mind. If somebody is in a rage, you can't try to convince them. You have to let them cool down When they cool down, they will ask themselves, why didn't that person actually have a rage with me, or why didn't they do this? So I normally do that. With my brother, it's simple because I've been in a journey where I've not been in a personal development. So when he has a rage, I recognize my story where I was before. So that's why I would just try to keep it cool, because even though myself, I wouldn't have a rage with people, is the mindset where you have to think that this is the mindset, this is where the person is. No matter how hard I try to convince them, they're not gonna get the story. They get the story when they decide they need to change. So that's the attitude that I have, that I have to let people be. And when I let people be, I find that they want, but if you tell somebody that they are wrong, or they try to argue with them, then it becomes something else. So for me, I try to move away from that situation where somebody wants to be right. Or sometimes you'll find that there are some friends that when you do something, they think they're right or you are wrong. So you just try to keep it cool and let somebody have their own opinion. Me, I like people when they have their opinion, and even when they're completely wrong, I just leave them alone. And I love that. And in that, it helps me to actually, for somebody to come back to me and say, Nomsa, or I'm not looking for sorry, but I'm looking for the right attitude for them to come back and say, Nomsa, I like your attitude. How do you do things to become the person that you are? Because even the coaches, I don't know if you have ever come across, there are coaches that you watch them on social media, but when you try to collaborate with them, the communication, you will see that they have rage, anger problems. Honestly, yeah. I don't know if you have ever come across it. For me, what helped me when I go into coaching, like matchmaking, um, I met James Pierce. James Pierce is a celebrity coach. So we started chatting and started talking. I said, can we meet? We met and we had a chat, and he told me about his work and stuff. So we started collaborating. But as we were talking, he said, Nomsa, for everything that I do for people, I think I need to practice my own attitude as well, because I help so many people, connecting them with the dating and stuff. I coach them, and then they end up finding love, but I don't have time for my family. That means I'm always busy. So those words, when he was speaking to me, I went home and I was like, so it means what he meant, what he was teaching me is your character as a coach. You have to practice it when you're off, when you're not a coach. So I kept that advice. And ever since, like when you see me here on live, that is the character that you meet when I'm offline. So
Very good.
I try to keep my cool. I try to keep my character. And when somebody is really having a rage, me, I always sometimes I laugh, because I'm like, even with the clients, sometimes you meet the clients. They are so beautiful, loving and caring person, and you talk to them, but because they've been hurt, you find that they don't believe in love anymore. They're like, when you say I'm gonna help you, the trust is not there anymore. So you have to, as a coach, you have to try to bring them back to the path where it's okay to trust. It's okay, you're beautiful, you are this, you are this. And I find when you do that, and then a few weeks later, they come back and they're a completely different person. And you're like, oh, what happened? Who did I meet? And then you realize that it's the disappointment that people go through in life. Is like you were saying at the beginning, Grant, there is always a story behind. So it's very important when you meet somebody, try to remember that everybody is wounded. And we all have stories behind that we carry that no one will ever know. Because sometimes I meet people and I'm like, maybe sometimes the business is, I'm having problems with my business or at home, somebody's sick or anything. And then somebody will have a rage. And I'm remembering, I'm like, okay, when people say, when you meet somebody, always treat them right because you don't know what they're passing through. I'm like, I'm passing through tough times, and this person does not understand, is adding more. So
Yeah.
I don't have to actually respond to that rage. I just have to keep, it's a very, very hard thing, granted, to keep your composure because it's like you have to take a breathe. And when you take a breathe, and now you have to analyze the situation very, very fast. How do I respond now in the right way where somebody has to take control of the situation? And how do I respond? Then you just have to um, and take control of the situation and making sure that everything is just under control. And sometimes it can be tough, or sometimes it can be easy, but you have to understand the actually the emotions and the triggers. And once, and also some people they fear of rejection as well. It can love to fear. Uh, uh, People can move from joy to anger and people have different things that they go through. So it's very, very important to actually be aware of those kind of things when you meet somebody or people when people like they get angry. Why are they getting angry? So you have to have those self-awareness as a person living in the present moment is very important.
Very good points. Very good points. And I think what you were saying about your colleague and coaches, yes, you've got to be congruent. It's no good, where you go into coaching. Oh, I put my coaching attitude on now, and then acting like a complete slob when you're off camera or something. It doesn't work. You've got to be the person you see here has got to be the person you are all the time. So that they say that, hey, you're just the same off camera as you are on camera. That's what you want to be because it's congruency. And that's so important for several reasons. But when you are that, people can sense that congruency from you. That's very, very attractive when you do that, when you're very congruent. Also, it's very relaxing for you. It's not hard work. Stress gets reduced because you're not living a falsehood. You're living your true self, your true purpose. And that's very important. As long as you haven't got any terrible habits, sort of thing, and you're really hurting other people with your natural way. If you have, maybe it's some work to do with yourself. So it does become the new congruent you. And we're always dedicated to improving ourselves. But yeah, you've got to be, and it's sad to say that there are quite a few coaches who, let's just say, what you see of them on screen is not what they're like off screen. Their morals, their values are not the same. And that really upsets me. That really upsets me when I see that. It's silly. It's silly because if they was to work on themselves and be that same person, they would find life easier, less stress. It's a nicer path. It's a much nicer path. And when they do that, success comes more easily. And if they did it, it would be wise. It would be very, very smart. But they don't do it, some people, because and again, you can't blame them. It's just that they don't quite know the way. They've learned some tricks and stuff and some skills and techniques, and that makes them a coach. But they've never really worked from it the other way because to be a true coach would always be someone who's working on themselves. A true coach would always have a coach, right? Or coaches, right? Very important. Very important because you can't see your blind side as your clients can't see theirs. So if you're doing this, this will make you more congruent. But not everybody follows those rules. Not everybody does that, right? Not everybody does it. And if they don't, they probably won't be doing these things. They probably may be a little bit different off camera as they are on camera. And that's not the right thing. I was watching a very good colleague of mine the other day, who's a coach and a good one. And he was saying he did a video, and he in our group he was asking for support and feedback. And he said to his girlfriend, I said to him, "Why do you always seem different when you're in camera?" I said to him, "Why do you?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Why don't you just do your live videos? Why don't you just do it like when you're talking to me? It's really great." And she said, "You do that funny sort of lip thing or whatever." And he was like, what lip thing?" And she said, "Yeah, you never do it when you're talking to me, but you do it when you're on camera." And he looked at it and he's like, "Oh wow, maybe I should be more congruent." And I thought he was fairly congruent. This good guy, right? And he said, "Oh, I'm going to do it." And I caught one of his lives the other day. It was great. He was so natural. He even swore, which I've never heard him swear. So I thought, oh, maybe naturally he does swear a little bit, but not in a bad way. It wasn't like really bad. It just once, but it was expressive. I thought, oh, but it's real. He was a real person. It was his own. And I thought that was quite powerful. He just said it once, and like something was going wrong with the audio, and he didn't stress it out and make it. He said, "Oh, there's something wrong with the audio. I'm not quite sure. Hang on, just give it us." And it was just so natural. It was like you were in the living room with him, and he was not trying to put on any hairs and grace. He was just, and I reached out. I said, "That was awesome. That was really awesome." It's obviously taken on board. And what you'll see, what is good about this is that when you think about it, he was holding his composure. He was cool in the situation. And what was great about it was the audience that don't really resonate with him won't like it, and they'll leave. Brilliant. That's brilliant in terms of marketing, which also means those who do like him a bit will really like him now and will become his clients. That's because you get to spend time around your people, and that is a great thing. You will attract the right people, and I think it was one of the best videos I've. And I like his videos. He's good. But this one was great. It was just so raw. It was like he was sitting down having a coffee with him over his kitchen table. It was really good. It was very natural, and it worked so well. So, and that is about having your holding your own composure and just being congruent. And I'm sure he's just like that offline. Well, he is. I know him. I've met the guy several times. He's the same offline as he's online. It was really good. So if we can aim to do it, and as coaches, we should always be doing that, always be trying to be the same person offline as online. A good thing to do, and it's a powerful thing, and life becomes less stressful. So yeah, why don't people do it? And this is back to my point. If people are upsetting you, you know they aren't like that all the time. So why are they like it in that situation? Because there's something about that situation that is stressing them. They're perhaps not being their normal self. They're having to step up to try to make an image of themselves because they don't feel they're enough. So what's caused that? Maybe it was something when they was a child. Maybe it was their boss. Maybe it was their husband, wife, girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. Something's happened that's dented their armor that makes them feel they need to put on a suit of armor and feel stronger by criticizing other people. And that person could be you. Maybe they admire you so greatly, maybe they think you're so fantastic that they feel inferior in front of you and they feel they need to pull you down to make themselves feel better. It's a stupid tactic. We know that. But some people are stupid. It's not a crime. Some people do stupid things and it's the only skill they have. They think it's the only way. And what will we do? We will always use the tactics that we know about. Maybe that's the only tactic they know. Maybe they're not consciously doing it. Maybe they're subconsciously doing it to try to help themselves. It's what I call a diversion tactic. If I can blame you for something, perhaps you won't look at me and notice how bad I am. And this is what, so I have a little bit of empathy for people, and it lets you off the hook and allows you to enjoy your day more. So that's what I wanted to say. Nomsa.
Empathy is very, very important to have empathy. And also what you're saying, Grant, that as a coach, you should have a coach is very, very important because people can, when you have a coach, the coach can see what your eyes can't see. And it's very, very important when I listen to Sai a lot when he is speaking. He says the reason why some coaches don't really succeed in the industry is because they treat the coaching industry as their business coaching as a hobby.
Mm.
And or if they have the money, they will have, like, let's say they have 200,000 grand, they'll put that 2,000 grand into the business. They don't get involved into the business. They think they have to hire everybody to do the work for them, and they end up not getting involved into the business. So he says from the beginning, when you start your business, you got to get involved in your business. You got to know everything about your niche, about everything, your demographic. And once you get involved and you start coaching, you have a team that is helping you, but you got to do the coaching. And he says in that way you will succeed, because even when you fall, you'll be able to look back and actually analyze the situation where things have gone wrong, and then pick yourself up and just keep going. So it's like, and also without fear, if there is fear that you need to deal with it, just deal with it. It's like some people, they have this fear, or they have this bad habit that they have, and they don't really want to get rid of them, but they think they can continue and succeed. But it's like you can't succeed if there's still fear, or if you still don't believe in what you're doing. It's like when you start your business, just get all in and do the things that you do. And also um your identity is very, very important. And that's why you're saying, Grant, that people, for me, basically, I see that people make up stories.
Yeah.
And I've learned honestly, I've learned this from a very, very young age, that I always had to ask my parents, even if there is something that I don't understand. In this house, my children and everybody else, adults, they think I'm nosy. They're like, she's gonna ask questions, she's gonna this. But it's not being nosy, it's not letting my mind make things up. When my mind make things up, I then have to actually uh, make a mistake. But if there's something that I don't understand, or if I'm angry at somebody, or I feel that I believe this is their character, I just have to sit down with that person and just find out and just ask questions. And I find that it works, instead of me assuming the personalities, assuming everything. I've seen people like, they come in, like even clients, sometimes they're angry, or sometimes they'll register and then they become angry because when they register, they want to love tomorrow, but it does not work like that. You still have to look at the matching process is hard. You still have to find the person that matches what they're looking for 100%. And then you send them off. But then for them, it's like, if I have registered today, tomorrow you should send me on a date, which doesn't happen. It does not how it works like that. You still have to do the selection. You still have to do the matching, and making sure that everybody meets the criteria of that person, what they're looking for. And but sometimes some people don't understand it. It's like the anger is just there. When they show you anger, it's not the anger that it's not that they're angry with you. So that's the message that I'm trying to send across, that it's good to hold your composure. Otherwise, you go waste your energy with everybody, going out there and getting angry with everybody. So it's very, very important that understand that people make things up with the people's character. And it's important to ask questions, and also take time to get to know somebody, and take time to get to know yourself, like what Grant was saying. When you work on yourself, like myself, I work on myself a lot. And when I work on myself, the website designer build a website, and I go in, I'm like, this is not my brand color, my branding color. Why have they changed my branding? So I spend lots of money, guys, with my branding. So it's got to be changed. And I make sure the message that there are no negotiations with that. It has to be changed. But then I realized that I never had a problem with the web designer that normally, the people that website designer that I normally see, I show them my branding, they always give me the right color because they can go in the system software and match it, find the color. So then I was like, okay, let me message the person who built the website before to give me the right color, because if I push them to do it, they might not do it. So now I come across with what Sai is saying, that you got to be in it. Just because you employ somebody and you're paying somebody, you have to scream and shout. No, you don't have to do that. Like I had to do my part. I'm like, okay, I've paid the web designer, is being paid, but that's not how I need to see it. So it's like, in order for me to get the results that I want, now let me send a message, find out to the guy that built the website if he still has the colors, and he just send it back within 10 minutes, and then I send it to them. And that is the problem sorted out. But sometimes, if you imagine the mindset, if I didn't have that mindset, Grant, I would have the mindset of, Grant, I paid you, so you should deliver.
Yeah.
And then Grant will be fighting back now.
Right.
So we all, and then sometimes it's nice just to hold your breath. And mindfulness is very, very important to meditation. Meditation comes you within. When you do your meditation, and if you don't, somebody who don't believe in meditation like myself, I meditate in scriptures as well. I fast, I meditate. It helps me to calm down. When everyone is going rage, it helps me to really, really calm down. I just calm down, I calm myself down. Or if I'm presented with a situation that is making me uncomfortable, I just have to look at it and say, God, do I have really control over this situation? If I don't have control over it, Grandy, I don't watch TV. I'll just sit on the sofa and cross my legs and just relax, instead of me having going into a rage. Is no point. So it's very, very important to anyone that is watching that when you actually understand your origins of your triggers, and also the power of self-awareness. Grant has mentioned this, and I've mentioned it as well. The benefits of staying calm is very, very important, and your physical well-being as well. Because with the more you argue with people, or the more you get angry, mentally, clarity and decisions making, it affects that when you get angry. And know that honestly, I've had this pastor preaching saying, people are crazy. And he was saying in a way that if you want people to agree with you, everybody to agree with you, you're going to go around fighting people and fighting people. But you have to know that nobody agrees with anybody. But you have to learn to agree with you. If you can get along with yourself, you cannot go wrong in everything you do in life, honestly, and it works. I have tested it myself. Get along with norms, like Grant was saying, get to know yourself very well, and just work on yourself is very, very important. Even in my relationship, it works. And it also helps when I work on myself, it helps me to understand my character and to understand my spouse's character, to understand my children's character. I have two children, they are completely two different people. And it helps me to identify that actually we human beings, we're different. And it just is so amazing when you work on yourself. I don't know, Grant, what do you think? It's 2 o'clock now.
But yeah, absolutely. Working on yourself is a great thing because this is the thing that allows you to have your own composure. If you work on yourself, you get to know yourself, you get to know your values. I mean, it's a very short stop, which there's only so much we can say in this hour. But if you work on yourself, you understand your values, your non-negotiables, what's important to you, you work on your purpose in life. It's very easy then to have composure because you don't need to react because you know who you are. You know why you're here. You know where you're going. And you know you just don't need somebody's other comments. They mean nothing to you. They bounce off you. Well, that might be, yeah, the ideal goal for the bouncer. They may not, but they won't make much of a dent of you. Let's say that. They won't dent you very much as long as you work to these things. And that does allow you to keep your cool. It does allow you to keep your composure. And I think about this, people talk about martial arts. I call this mental arts, right? It's how you use the mental arts. You learn how to control yourself, not to get ruffled by people. And it's a beautiful way to live. So if you think this is going to be a challenge coming up in the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, or perhaps after Christmas, what about those New Year parties? What about all those other Christmas birthday parties, all those things that are going to happen? If you want to know more and want to learn more tactics of how you can deal with that to remain in composure and enjoy your life and get better results, we can help you. Just reach out and we will show you how we do it, and we can show you how you can do it too. Nomsa, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Grant. Yeah, so yeah, it's very, very important. And also, um, it improves your relationships as well and the problem solving skills as well when you understand all those things. Emotional help you with emotional resilience, and also increase your productivity and effective. And also you can have a strategy. You can create your own strategies for managing anger. For me, there are so many things that I had to, because we live in this world. So this is what I live with, guys. We live in this world where it's so busy, and when it's so busy, you just have to everything. We work and we are family, so it's stress. So you have to learn how to manage your stress. That's when your rituals come in. How do you begin your day is very, very important. For me, prayer. Some days I fast, and it just helps me to calm myself down. It helps myself to know that where there is anger, the anger is not worth it. So every time I'm in the present moment, and so it's very, very important. And what else that is important is recognizing the signs as well, and create maybe breathing exercises are really, really good. Have some time out in space for yourself, no noise, maybe 10 minutes every day. And also help you when you learn to actually, when you do these exercises as well, it will help you to resolve conflict, and also uh, seek professional help if you see that I need professional help. And also, there's so many things that you can do. And also, the health and lifestyle choices as well is very, very important. And your social support connection and the people that we hang out, they play a really, really big part in our lives. I always say to my friends, I rather have one friend that is real or two instead of being popular, having all these people with their fake. So it's very, very important to have a solid foundation when it comes to your life. For me, I don't judge anybody. But if I see that people are fake, they're not real, I don't really waste my time. I just love them. I prefer to pray for people than to waste my time, people telling me off for anything. So, or me getting angry. So all those things, they play a really, really big part they'll play a big part in your life. Um, and also love yourself. And self-acceptance is very, very important, because when you love yourself, when you accept yourself, where there is anger or if there is something that makes you angry, you have to think and say, do I really need to feel like this? And then you would choose that moment how you respond to every situation, and respond with grace because of your well-being and self-care. Any words of encouragement, Grant, that you have? I know you've got to go.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Nomsa. Yeah, words of encouragement are these tips we're talking about for Christmas period. But you know what? It goes far beyond that. These are tips you can learn and use in everyday relationships with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, teammates, etc., etc. You can use this in work. You can use this in voluntary work. You can use it in the world of the whole communication because the best way you can communicate with other people is learning how to communicate with yourself first. And this is one small step how you can do it. So you can do it, but remember, just draw a breath. If someone sends you an email that you don't like, don't respond immediately. Don't do it. If you really need to get it out of your system, type it and save it to drafts. Leave it and go back 3 days later and have a look at it. If you still feel the same way, send it. But I bet you will edit it and you will soften it. Okay. And that will allow you to remain in composure. My name's Grant Morrell, international speaker, coach, trainer, international best-selling author. And if you would like more help on that, you can contact me on grant.morrell at Instagram or just contact Nomsa for the show and we'll be able to help you even more. And you can do this. Just take a deep breath and think that the other person's not in a great position and that you may be able to help. All right. If you do that, it changes your whole frame, your whole mental approach, and it helps to control you, to hold your composure. Over to you, Nomsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Grant. Yes, if you want to connect with Grant, please do connect with him on my social media or his social media, and also through my website. And you can just go there and send me an email or ring the office. If you are outside the UK, email is best, or I don't have a WhatsApp number to give it to which is Abdullah suggested we need to get a WhatsApp number. So maybe soon I got to think about that because sometimes it gets really busy. And yeah, so I have to think about that to get a WhatsApp number. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.